Today's lesson is setting goals and tracking progress. Readers, earlier we talked about setting up a good place to read at home, maybe with a lamp, or look at what some of your classmates came up with. Thumbs up if you have done that at home. We also talked about getting together a stack of books you can read that are just right. Thumbs up if you have done that. Here's the most important thing to remember. The reason that finding a good reading spot matters and that getting books you can read matters has everything to do with this. The one thing that matters ultimately is that you read a ton more than you've ever dreamt of. Take a minute to think. You can pause the video to talk to someone about whether you are reading more than ever, and if not, what might you do to change that? Do you know that there are researchers whose job it is to study how people become expert at things? They don't just study kids. They study how skiers become expert at going over ski jumps and how people learn to win those Dancing with the Stars contest. Because your goal this year is not just to love reading, but also to zoom ahead as readers, to become expert at reading. I thought you'd be interested to hear what these researchers found. Readers, today I want to teach you that researchers have found that if a person wants to get really good at something, that person needs to set clear goals and to keep track of their progress toward those goals. Think about people in your life or on TV who are working at getting better at something. Do you know a grown-up who is working on losing weight? Or a runner who is working on speed? My hunch is that these people know exactly what their goals are and that they collect and study evidence of their progress toward these goals. The person trying to lose weight gets on the scale often to check on his or her progress and may even chart it. The runner keeps track of miles run and keeps track of time too, trying to break their latest record. Each one of you sets goals all the time, even if you don't call them that. Like when you say, I'm going to try to get another level in a game. I've got to be faster. Or I'm going to try jumping rope one more time because I keep getting tripped up in the rope. You set a goal, you get yourself ready, set, and go. Of course, when the goal is increasing the number of levels you reach in a game or the number of jumps you can make, it's to see and count your progress. But how do you set goals for reading? And how do you see and count progress in your reading? I mean, reading isn't like swinging a hula hoop around you once, twice, 3 times. Reading is invisible work, right? Wait a minute. Could reading logs work? I think so. Readers can track their progress with their logs. Each one of you has already begun to do that. And if you study your logs, you can even see days when you read a lot, days when you read less, and try to figure out why things work for you some of the time and not other times. My hunch is that if you study your log, you'll also be able to set new goals for your reading, as well as track your progress toward these goals. Readers, although I've been entering my reading activities regularly in my reading log, I haven't studied my data in a while. Will you help me think about what the records say about my reading? What can I do to improve? Pause the video and tell someone. Readers, let's look at the total amount of time I've been reading. What do you notice? Oh yes, the most I've ever read was 30 minutes all week. Geez, that's a problem. I'm usually the kind of reader who reads a good book for hours. Do you notice anything about how often I read? Looking at this log, it looks like I didn't read on September 1st or 2nd. I have been so excited about setting up my Google Classroom that I put reading on the back burner, and that is something I've got to fix. Tonight, I'm going to settle down with a book and read for 1 uninterrupted hour at least. Here's the thing to remember. This log is not just a fancy for show thing. It's a tool for making me a better reader. I don't just fill in this log, I study it. I can look at past entries and note that I am reading nothing fiction and then resolve to make a go at nonfiction reading each day, even if it's just the newspaper. Or I can look across my entries and see that I'm not reading very much. So then I can think, what's keeping me from reading? Maybe I have too many distractions, and I will try to fix that. Just like a professional athlete, I can study my results and figure out what I indeed have to do to make my performance ready. Readers, when you study your logs, you can usually see a whole bunch of patterns. What else do you see when you study my log? We looked at the days when I read. What else could we look at? Pause the video and tell somebody. Did you say that it looks like I jumped from one thing to another? Yes, and notice that I read 2/3 of a page a minute. Researchers have said that it is usually a good pace for reading, though some texts deserve to be read more slowly. As you fill out your new reading logs, take the time to study them carefully and notice your own habits and patterns. Are you the kind of person who does tons of reading some days and less on other days? Are you an avid series reader? Do you read more when you have a series going? Readers, last week you acted as reading researchers, studying what I did to choose a within reach book. Now you're acting like researchers again, only this time you are studying yourself. You are going to want to keep tabs on yourself throughout the year because monitoring progress toward goals is how people become experts. Readers, you are going to be doing a ton of reading this year. You'll often pore over your logs looking for patterns that might need fixing and thinking of goals that can help you make this the best reading year ever. Please use a Post-it or something to mark the page where you begin reading today. Later, you'll calculate how many pages you read in total. As soon as you have your Post-it or marker in place, head off to start reading. Remember to keep in mind all the ideas you've had so far this year about how you can make your reading the best it can be.